So many questions. Some of them are academic, some of them are practical. I'll start with the one that actually got me to light it up.
Yes.
I like to talk about the balance between appreciation of the now and then the becoming of what's more. So many times, as I keep doing this work, things just pop up, instant manifestation, and all of a sudden, I'm thinking about the next, but I don't want to misappreciate.
Well, before you go too far, we want to point out to you the perfection of your question, because you said, I want to understand the balance, and then you went on the balance between appreciation and the manifestation of it. And that question was perfectly balanced. In other words, because you understand, as long as the appreciation feels keen, then you're right there. Here's a it's going to feel odd example. Esther remembers many years ago sitting and looking through catalogs. They came by the hundreds to her mailbox. And she would save them until she had an evening that she could sit and look through them. And for the first hour, it was really fun. And then after a little while, she would feel worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, because there were so many unmanifested things in those catalogs. At first, it was that idea, oh yeah, that would be fun to experience in this way. But after too many things that you don't yet own, it got out of balance. Have any of you ever done that to yourselves? Where at first it's fun and then you just think, I want to die. Because you've accentuated the gap between your desire and your manifestation, and you just got out of balance.
Can we turn that around a little bit? So
Yes.
more like I know from a young age that my desire will take me anywhere I want.
Yes.
But if I stand on that desire, not paying attention to the resistance, I'll get there, but I'll feel run down when I get there. So more and more.
Well, you can't even really get there. You can't really get to where you want to be without feeling good in the process. You can get to some manifestation that sort of replicates it, but the true essence of what you wanted, you miss that mark unless you're feeling good.
Absolutely. So sometimes you get to the thing you thought you want and it doesn't feel that exciting anymore. Sometimes it's just a thing that's taking you to the next.
It always is that. Not sometimes, it always is that. 100% of the time it's that.
So there's these two parts of me.
So when you hear people say to their children, or you say to your children, are you never satisfied? The correct answer is no.
Absolutely.
No, in the sense that there will never be an ending to the desires that are flowing. But that balance that you're talking about is the satisfaction in the moment. Because what you're reaching for is seeing your goal or your desire through the eyes of Source. So how does Source see it? It is happening. It's a done deal. It cannot not happen. It's right on course. It's unfolding perfectly, and it's feeding you just like you wanted it to. Do you know that desires unfolding are like fuel? They're like fuel along the way, and you never want to run out of something to eat.
But so then, what does it matter? The desire doesn't matter as much. I more and more think, what's the momentum doing right now? Because the desire I thought I wanted, it's going to always evolve into something more. So why be so not allowing myself other aspects of life?
You figured it out. That is the secret to all of this. Because when the desire itself is the manifestation you're reaching for, you've got it made. But when you need the manifestation of the desire, which isn't happening yet right now you're in this lackful place, and now the desire shuts down, and so do the impulses. When you're happy for the existence of the vortex, then the vortex must reveal itself to you in all of the tangible ways. And that's where the surprise and delight comes. But if the tangible ways are necessary for you to feel it, now you can't get there from there.
So I always say, if you're not thrilled or satisfied, even in the becoming, you're missing the point. But there's a few things I'd like to clarify. Is there different levels of evolution between your inner being and my inner being, or is it one big collective evolution and doesn't even matter to make that separation?
It doesn't matter to make the separation, but there are lots of points of focus.
Okay, because I think I think other teachers will teach you, there's all, you talk about shifting, but it seems maybe for simplification, you sort of kind of focus on one reality that we're all sort of co-creating, whereas other people tell you, well, there's all these versions of you that you sort of kind of tune in like a TV or whatnot. You follow me all, up to that point? If there's different realities and it matters just what I focus on, then that's great, because if I know someone was, say, being raped, but I'm not focusing on them, then the tree's not falling at all. It's not even happening. It's not just that I'm putting my head on the ground. Could you clarify that for me? As opposed to, I'm just not aware of this reality that's still happening.
In order to make sense of this, it's important to understand that at the basis of everything that you want is a feeling. Everything that you want is for the feeling of the energy flowing through. And so what you were talking about earlier, we want to touch on that first. So which is it? Life helps me know that I want these things, and then these things become a bigger idea, and then the idea occurs to me, and now I'm ready to proclaim to the world, I want this. I desire this thing. At that point of the bursting forth of that desire, there is an energy rush that really is what you're all looking for all the time. So the optimum life experience would be to be able to keep yourself in the position where you could be translating the things that you've been asking for into the idea and into the idea and into the idea. The only diminishment of life is when you take that idea that now is flowing and for some unnecessary reason, slow it down. And the reason that you slow it down is because you want to make it a reality now, and since it isn't a reality now, then you introduce lack or doubt into the equation, which doesn't allow it to keep going. Does that make sense to you? We're going to try to demonstrate it. So contrast helps you know that you would like to have this, and 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 this. And a lot of what you're living, because it's your same point of attraction, is putting a lot of similar things into your vortex. So here your vortex is, it's accumulating all of these things that you're asking for, and you are not even all that aware of what you're asking for, because life's coming fast and it's stacking up, and you can't really identify the pieces that you're putting in there, not really. But these pieces are becoming wholes, and these pieces and wholes of pieces are gathering cooperative components. And so there's quite a business going on here. In other words, there's something really remarkable that is happening that your inner being is just crazy for. Your inner being is just loving the becoming, because it's the evolution of the spirit. It's the evolution of the whole. It's the evolution of all that is. It's the evolution of this leading edge time and place. In other words, this is what you came for. This is what you're doing. It's all right on track. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So here it is, becoming, gestating, getting ready for you to get ready for it. And you are ready for it because you've been tuning in, you've been appreciating, you've been looking for positive aspects in things, you've been meditating, and you get a glimpse of it that is just intoxicating for a moment. The key in all of this is to keep yourself as best you can in that place of receiving the next idea and the next idea and the next idea and the next idea. And when you reach the place that you are hooked on the idea and you don't need the manifestation, then you'll have it, because then you'll always be in that sweet spot. Then you'll always be experiencing clarity. And strangest thing, all those manifestations will be raining down around you. And those who are watching it from the outside will think that your high is about the stuff. They won't understand that your high is about the high, and that the stuff is a consequence of that.
Absolutely.
We've been talking about this for a while in this way, and we think this is a good way to bring this all into a culminating place for you here today. If you need the thing to promote the feeling, you just can't get there from there. But if you believe that you can promote the feeling and you've mastered that, then the things have to come. Because once you've mastered the feeling, you've steadied the vibration. That's that balance you were asking about. And once you've steadied the vibration, a consistency will happen which will cause momentum. And the momentum is necessary for the creation to come about. But when you want it but, and want it but, and want it but, then you don't allow the momentum to move into that creative.
So here's what I know. I had this blessed experience where I had, the best way that I can explain it is everything conversion to this point of being a singularity where every sound became the most harmonious, every image became just this white, pure light. And the best I can describe it is crystallized, pure love, well-being.
We call that in alignment with your inner being and seeing the world through the eyes of source.
Absolutely. And so I had that experience where I know it's not that I will get there. I know that part of me is always there. It's always calling. It's what's actually that Disney river that's always flowing. And it's pulling me to. So then there's this mini little part of me here in the real world trying to soar. And so is that...
Well, how are you going to keep that part of you from messing up that part of you? How are you going to keep that needed to manifest part of you to mess up that I'm in the zone part?
Following my guidance always.
The answer to that, really, you're right, but it's caring about how you feel and remembering that everything that you want is about how you feel anyway. And then before you know it, you get the horse out ahead of the cart instead of the cart before the horse. And then you're out ahead of it. You're happy and then you're happy and then you're happy and then you're happy and then.
So that part of me is always there. I kind of given up the idea that this little part of me has free will. It has either turning the valve or on or off, because the free will comes from the bigger part of me that has the longer momentum.
But that little part of you that you're talking
it's
about,
important
that
too.
important little part of you that you're talking about is the part of you that put all the stuff in the vortex to begin with. It's the part of you that put all the stuff in there. It's the part of you that understands the relationship between who you really are and who you're allowing yourself to be. There is no downside to you. There is no part of you to talk smack about.
I want to clarify that I'm not talking smack about it. I'm just trying to make the bigger point of that this little part of me is what turns the valve all on or partly on or not based on, like you say, the opinion that I'm formulating right here. Right
There's
now.
something about the way you're describing it that's not quite right. And what that is that that part of you that's not very well connected can become better connected. And then that part of you that's a little better connected can become better connected. And that part of you that's better connected can become better connected. One leads to the other, leads to the other, leads to the other, leads to the other. And it does not matter where you tune in to where you are at any point in time. It doesn't matter how far away you think you are or how far away you really are from connection with who you really are. Who you really are is going to continue to call you and call you and call you and call you and call you. And now you know what you know, you're going to hear the calling and you're going to know what to do. We overtalk this and we overthink this and we make it more complicated than it needs to be.
I'm getting to the question. So
we are out of time.
So
you're getting to the question? You're just now getting to the question? What is the question?
Like you say, every day you wake up and, you know, it's basking on it, it's getting to that, elevating yourself to that point. So every day I wake up and it's almost instantaneously. Sit on my bed and I just feel the flush of source through me. There's other times where I do the exact same thing physically and I'm thinking the exact same thoughts, but there is sort of a underlying, unaware emotional part that's pulling somewhere else, and I don't always know why. And this is step 5, being okay with it and letting it play its momentum.
It's being okay with it, and it's not trying too hard to figure it out. And it is this: when you know you're high, focus and watch yourself increase the momentum by your focus. When you know you're not there, bail out. Don't try to make it happen from there, because that just holds that place in that place that's strong enough that it'll keep showing up. If you don't try to fix that when it feels like that, you give your attention to it when it feels good and you withdraw your attention when it doesn't feel good, what happens is pretty soon that dissipates completely and it becomes a non-player in your experience. Your awareness, your ownership of your vibrational reality, your vortex of creation, that stuff you can't see yet, but your acknowledgement, your conscious acknowledgement of the existence of it. It exists as what you want to call the beginning point of so much that will satisfy you. But it could satisfy you right now as it is. And when you let it satisfy you right now as it is, then it will blossom into all the pieces that you want to show off to everyone else.